Hey friends, it's me Micah. This is the Homestead Bandwagon. Today I'm talking about the top 10 tools every tractor owner needs, and they might not necessarily be tools, just like things, top 10 things everybody needs. At least I think there's going to be 10 of them. I didn't really count. All right, so the number one thing I think everybody should buy before they even leave the tractor dealership, before they even have their tractor, is some extra keys. I have a lot of people who, need a spare key all the time. It just seems like we always sell out at the worst times. You're going to break your keys, you're going to lose your keys, go get some spare keys. The next thing you really got to get, probably even before you get your tractor, is some PPE. Eye protection, ear protection, which I don't have on me right now, gloves. Just keep them on or in the tractor with you. Now, I already have some ringing in my ears from being in bar bands and stuff and operating tractors and mowers without hearing protection. I'm getting into the habit now. Wear your ear protection, wear your eye protection, use your gloves. The next thing you're really going to need, again, before you even get your tractor, is some kind of fuel cans. There's some real garbage fuel cans out there. The ones that are the worst are the ones where you got to like pull back a thing while you're tipping them to get fuel in your machine. This one I'm using right now is not a fuel can. This is just a fluid can that I'm just putting in my gas tank for some reason. Not a fuel can because it doesn't have some kind of safety thing on it. I don't know, but it's a thing. In the link or in the description to this video and in the comments and probably at the end of the video and maybe during the video, I'm gonna have links to a bunch of this stuff on Amazon. So you can buy all this stuff if you ain't got it. So this is a fluid transfer can. It is not called a diesel can or a gas can or anything. This is my favorite gas can right here. This is called a Sure Can. Basically it drains out the bottom. So you only need one hand to use it. You got a thing on the top, and now all the diesel's coming out the bottom. You're gonna fuel up all the time. It's nice to have something usable that you don't need two hands for. Look how easy this thing is. I'll put like a set of locking pliers on the handle of this thing, and it'll just hold this open, putting gas into our tank, or ideally diesel into the tank, while I'm out doing something else. So this Sure Can is probably the best fuel can I've ever used. I swear I spend more time putting fuel in this thing than I do driving it. Now these are like gold around my shop, linch pins. If you have implements on your tractor, you're gonna need linch pins, you're gonna lose them, they're gonna fall out. And then top link pins, we sell 1 million of these too. So yeah, that's some other stuff you're gonna need. Now, we haven't gotten into any tools yet. I think there's a thing about tools. Let's look at some tools here. Okay, now we're getting into tools. So probably the most important thing to get is a good socket set. So you got your socket wrench. You're going to want a 3/8 socket set with some sockets, right? So these are going to be used all the time with the tractor when you're doing stuff on it. The one regret I have with my sockets is my regular 3/8 sockets and my 1/4 inch. I don't have them in impact rated versions right now. I'm using regular ones. So if you're using impact tools, you might need them. This is what impact stuff looks like. It's kind of a chalky black. I did put a link to an impact socket kit, so if it's still available when you see this video, there's a link to an impact socket kit in the description of this video. That's useful. Get regular SAE and metric sizes and a 3/8 kit. Don't go out and buy a mechanic's tool kit. They're usually junky. Get like a dedicated socket set, and then you're going to need some larger sockets too, because there's going to be large bolts and nuts on your tractor. So you're going to need some larger sized ones too. Beyond that, some adjustable wrenches. These things are always coming in handy for tightening down hydraulic hoses, screwdrivers, flathead, Phillips head. If you got a toolbox on the truck, this Klein 10-in-1 is a pretty cool screwdriver to have. It's just compact. It stores all of its bits inside itself. So you can find videos on this Klein 10-in-1. Having a good whacker or two around is great. I use this mallet a lot. I had a bent part on our tiller yesterday or the day before. I just whacked it back into shape. It was nice. A good 2 to 4 pound mallet. And Regular hammer too. Isn't bad to have a little hammer on board the tractor for whacking in pins. And then speaking of pins, I don't see a lot of people carrying these. They called this a ladyfoot pry bar, I think is what they call it. It's a weird name, but they make these in sets. So basically you got a pointy end. You could jab it in through like somewhere where you're trying to align like the ball on the back of your 3-point and your lower 3-point arms. You can align it with that. And then this is like a little pry bar. So they make smaller ones of these that you could fit, again, in your tractor's toolbox. Beyond that, larger pry bars are super handy when you're hooking up implements that are being difficult. And then set of vice grips or locking pliers. Those are super handy. And some needle nose pliers. So usually just buy an assortment of pliers. But you know, these are kind of the basic things I think you need when you're using a tractor. And with these larger sockets, a larger socket wrench and a breaker bar. So what do we need? Sockets, adjustable wrenches, whackers, screwdrivers, pry bars, breaker bars, extended size sockets, and some assorted pliers and locking pliers. Now you're going to notice I didn't say anything about wrenches. Wrenches are great to own when you're a tractor owner. It's just, if you're buying all this stuff at once, it gets spendy. You can use the sockets and the pliers and the adjustable wrenches, you know, and replace and not use these immediately. But yeah, go out and buy yourself a good set of wrenches. The cheap ones are going to make your life miserable, so save up a little money, buy some good ones. These are gear wrenches. I really like them. Anyway, on to it. Next thing you need to get. All right, the next thing you're going to need is some lubrication equipment. A grease gun, first of all, and get a grease gun with a pistol grip. Or if you're a Rockefeller, buy one of those DeWalt battery-powered ones. But get yourself a grease gun with a pistol grip. Need a rubber hose with a swivel if you can find one. And get yourself one of these Lock and Lube locking grease couplers. This thing changed my life. I'm a better man for buying one of these things. Lock and Lube actually makes a whole set. That's the grease gun, the pistol grip, the hose, and the grease tip thing. You're going to be greasing your tractor all the time, or at least you should be. Every 10 hours of use on your loader, you should be greasing it. It's just part of your life now as a tractor owner. And it's really nice to, geez, I can't do this on camera, but it's really nice to not need to use two hands to pump a grease gun. That's why you need a pistol grip. Then let's talk about grease, because we're talking about lubrication equipment. I'm going to say something really controversial here. It doesn't matter what kind of grease you use. It doesn't matter. Lithium, not lithium, I don't know what the kinds of grease are. The more grease you use, the better. It's about quantity more than quality as far as grease goes. So go out and buy whatever grease you want, buy a case of it. Every 10 hours that you're using your loader, you really should be greasing it. Your front end, if you have grease zerks on your front end, you really should be greasing those. Okay, and then also when we're talking about lubrication equipment, hold on here, I gotta put my stuff down. Get yourself some WD-40. There was 39 WDs before this one. This one was the best. So WD-40 frees up things that don't move, helps you make things move that were already moving okay, but not so good. I buy it by the gallon. I put it in spray bottles and spray it that way. I've got a spray bottle of it on the tractor at all times. I use this for cleaning the pins on a tractor that holds the bucket on, because if you grease those, you get a lot of dirt and debris that gets in there and it seizes your bucket to your pins. Same thing when we're disconnecting our PTO shaft off the back of the tractor. I use the WD to clean it up and help dispel water, I guess is what it does. It keeps stuff from getting rusty, protects it, but also keeps dirt from getting on my PTO shaft and rocks and making things seize up. So I'm a big believer in WD-40. I use it instead of grease in many cases. And they also have like a silicone lubricant they use. I don't know, just go grab something that sprays and spray it. And just for fun, grab yourself some shop towels, because you're going to be filthy, and some rubber gloves. So there's our lubrication situation. Now what kind of goes hand in hand with lubrication is maintenance stuff. Funnels, oil, filters for your first oil change for your tractor. get those things, do your own maintenance for sure. Get a big catch pan, like a 5 or 10 gallon catch pan to catch the oils from your tractor. Have extra oils on hand. You're gonna need them. You're gonna have a filter bust off or something, you're gonna have to replace it. And big deal here, get a filter wrench. They make those strap wrenches. I think strap wrenches are hot garbage. A filter wrench, you can bear down on the filter and turn it. The first time you change the filter on your tractor is always a bear. It's like those filters are, there's a lot of sun in my eyes. Those filters are on like a gorilla put them on. Having a filter wrench has been awesome. Way better than using a strap wrench for sure. And just word to the wise too, if you are changing your own oil and filters, when you take the bolt out of your oil pan, there's always a copper washer around there. Grab some of those copper washers because it's going to fall off, you're going to lose it, they wear out. So grab some of those for sure. You know what's not on my list of essentials that probably should be? Subscribing to this channel. It's so useful, jeez. Anyways, here's another essential thing. Straps or chains. And if you're using straps, these clevis hooks, they're like a, let's see if we can show you. D-ring with a screw thing that goes through them, or one that has a pin that goes through it. Basically things to yank other things around. Chains can be finicky. Sometimes they can get rusty. I don't know, they're expensive. Straps are a dime a dozen. You just pick up some 10,000 pound straps, but just have something to pull something or yank on something with. Probably a little bit of both, chains and straps. They're really nice to have. Once you have them, you'll go, oh yeah, I like having those. At some point, you're going to have a flat tire or a low tire on your tractor. You got to have an air compressor. Now this one, for some reason, I'm always shocked more people don't have. It's an air compressor. This is just a DeWalt pancake air compressor. 6-gallon tank, you plug it into the wall. It's 165 PSI. Get yourself a couple hoses so you have, 50 or 100 feet of hose. And then one of these, which is like a dial style inflator with a thing to push. So you tell it when to release air, and then you watch, which pressure level you're up to. I'm not good at words today. That's not very promising. And then I really do recommend this from Lock and Lube. This is called the Lock Inflate. It reaches out, it grabs the tire stem, and then your hand's free to just inflate the tire to your heart's content. So that's one air thing everybody should have. And the other thing is this, it's called a radiator genie. Basically you shove this in your radiator and hit it, and it blasts out compressed air to clean up the inside of your radiator. I see a lot of clogged up radiators in our shop, and people wonder why their tractors overheat. Because your radiator's clogged up, brother. So the radiator genie is a really cool tool that lets you get in between your radiators, clean them out. And also it has a water attachment so you can get water into hard to reach places. So great tool. So I'm really into the plug-in style air compressors. You could use like a DeWalt, once again, I own a lot of DeWalt stuff, like a DeWalt battery powered compressor. We do use those around the shop a lot because they're portable. You can get to a flat tire with them, air up the tire. But you can't use those couple air tools with them, which I think are really important. Well, you can't use a radiator genie with it, and I think everybody should own a radiator genie, but whatever. At the very least, get something to fill up your tires with. Even if you just go out and buy a little, here, hold on, let me go find it. It's in the other side with the mower. Okay, just pretend I already had it in my hands. This little thing, this is a Gulu rechargeable tire inflator. This thing will even inflate the tires on the tractor. So just have something to inflate your tires on your tractor, and ideally have a plug-in one where you can use a couple air tools, but it is what it is. Apparently I'm just taking you on a tour of the barn now. This is also something everybody's got to have. This is a off-road jack. Basically, if you got to jack up part of your tractor, like the loader, because you had your hydraulic lines blow, I don't know. It's just, we always use this thing for all sorts of things. So a little off-road jack, which is much more handy than like a bottle jack or one of those car racing jacks, and maybe a couple jack stands. We use these a lot, or just some blocks of wood, but have something for jacking stuff up and keeping it up. Okay, let's turn it up to 11 here. But let's just talk real quick about a couple power tools. An impact driver, I think, is a must to have. Now, I had mentioned, if you remember the start of the video, that I wish I had bought my sockets as an impact rated socket set. That's because I oftentimes use them with this impact driver, and you can blow them apart. You can break them. So, I'll be changing them out slowly but surely for impact rated sockets. So I had also mentioned buying large size sockets. So instead of the 3/8 sockets, buying 1/2-inch sockets, and impact rated as well, because if you do want to spend some dough, you get yourself a battery powered impact driver. These go really well with the tractor. You're going to find reasons to use them over time. Even if you're just taking a front tire off, it's real nice to be able to just bust it off, because it's always raining when you have a flat tire. It's never nice out. It's always ugly out there. Now, if you can't swing it for one of these, you want to buy one of the expensive ones. If you can't swing it right away for that, that's not a problem. They make some smaller ones that are this size. Avoid it. Don't need it. Have a regular impact driver, one of the good ones. I like DeWalt. The M18 Milwaukee's pretty good, but I like the 20-volt DeWalt. They do make adapters, so you can use 1/2-inch sockets on this little tool. It'll work in a pinch, but yeah, if you can swing it, you get the Big Daddy impact driver, and this thing will blast about any fastener you need it to. Okay, that's about it. That's my 10 or maybe 11 essential things every tractor user needs. There's a link to a list of these tools in the description. It's like an Amazon thing. I don't really know how my technology works, but I made a big Amazon list. So yeah, check that list out. If I missed something, tell me. If everybody needs a welder or something, I don't think everybody needs a welder. But yeah, what do we miss? Let me know in the comments. Was this helpful? Let me know that too. I love compliments. All right, friends, we'll see you around.